Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. Welcome back to another What's for Dinner. This one is a really special one. This is all of our family favorites. So I say these are all of our family favorites, but they're not all of them. We have several more, but I didn't want to make this video too long, so we just chose 5 for this week. We each chose one, so there's 3, and then there's 2 more that we all loved and we all agreed on. So I'm really excited about this. I hope this is something that you'll enjoy. Maybe it will jog your memory. Maybe you've seen every single one of my What's for Dinners, but you know, once you see a lot of recipes, you forget about some. So if you wanted to know what our family favorites are, here you go. I've gotten a lot of comments lately asking us that, so I thought this would be a great way to just kind of refresh your memory on some of the best recipes that we've done on our channel. Before we get started, sorry, one quick little thing. Just wanted to mention, I do What's for Dinner videos a lot. I try to do them weekly. I've done over 60 of them I have here on my channel. So if that's something that you're interested in and finding new recipes, and we only share the best. I don't share any flops that we have, and we've only had a couple, but I only share things that we truly have enjoyed and loved, and we always give you a taste test too. So if that's something you're interested in and looking for new recipes, I would love for you to join my YouTube family and hit that subscribe button. Okay, let's get started. So you may be wondering why I am not recording this in the kitchen. That's because life. It has been one of those days. My son is actually outside mowing grass. My husband is doing several things in the front of the house. I've got the washing machine going, the dryer going. Those are both right off of the kitchen. And I needed to get this filmed, so I thought I would come back here to the back of the house so that I could record this for you. But without any further ado, we're gonna start with my personal favorite meal that I've shared in all of my What's for Dinners, and that is the oven baked ribs. We originally shared that recipe in the summer of 2019, and we've made it several times since then, and it is a family favorite. I was always intimidated by ribs until I made them this way, and they fall off the bone. They are amazing, and I have some friends who say they make it this way now and they won't make them any other way. So here you go. Before we get started preparing the ribs, I'm gonna go ahead and preheat the oven to about 275. I'm really excited about cooking these ribs today. You know, they can be really intimidating to make. A lot of people think that you have to have a smoker or you have to be really great with the grill, but these are gonna be cooked inside. The last 10 minutes or so, we're gonna throw them on the grill, but you don't even have to do that. You could just turn on the broiler. But these are great for any summer get together that you might have, and they're super, super simple, and they're gonna be falling off the bone. The first thing we're gonna do is take the ribs out of the package. We're gonna wash them off and dry them really good before we get started. Now that we've got these good and dry, I'm gonna get this membrane off of the back. Now we've got these on our baking sheet. We're gonna cover them with another piece of aluminum foil before we put them in the oven. These are ready to go in the oven. They're gonna go in at 275 for 3 to 4 hours, basically until they're really tender. We're gonna get started on the barbecue sauce. We're adding in a ½ cup of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and 1 tablespoon of chili paste. This is the chili paste we used. If you don't have chili paste, you could definitely use chili sauce. I'm also gonna add about a dash of salt and a dash of pepper. We want our onions really finely diced, so I'm gonna go ahead and run the knife through these just to get them a little bit smaller. We've got this skillet over medium heat. I'm gonna add some EBOO. I'm gonna add my diced onion. We're gonna add in a half a teaspoon of cumin. These are done. They smell so good. We're gonna add in our barbecue sauce. We're gonna bring it to a good simmer. Now that it's simmering, I'm gonna turn it down to low and pop the lid on and let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes. This is done. It's kind of thickened up a little bit. We're gonna remove it from the heat and let it start to cool. You don't want it hot when it's going onto the ribs. So we're gonna let that hang out and come to room temperature. It's been about 3.5 hours, so let's take the ribs out of the oven. Ooh, that's a lot of steam. We're gonna go ahead and put the barbecue sauce on the ribs. And then at this point, you could stick your ribs back in the oven under the broiler for about 5 minutes, just long enough to let this sauce kind of caramelize. But we're gonna go put it on the grill just so that we can get a little bit of that smoky charcoal flavor. I think they're gonna go on the grill for like around 10 minutes or so, not very long, but you could do it either way. They look amazing. So this is my slab. I don't know what the boys plan on eating, but this is mine. Let's cut this up. Oh my gosh. They're just falling apart, babe.
I am really excited about this. This is going to be amazing, I can just tell. First of all, look at that. Huh? Oh man. Falling off the bone. Here, let me just pull that out.
That's awesome.
All right, let's get into this rib meat here. That's exactly what you want right there. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This sauce is out of this world. You gotta make these ribs.
Okay, so that was the ribs recipe that we love and we make pretty often. Now the next recipe is Steven's favorite recipe, and I'm going to be honest, when I went and asked him what his favorite recipe was, he was like, he thought about it for a minute and he said, I think it's the ribs. And I said, too bad, buddy. That's the one I chose. Choose another one. And then he quickly came up with this one, which happens to be a subby supper, but it is the fried pork chop sandwiches. We did it, I think last fall was when we originally did it. They are delicious, and they are definitely one of Steven's favorite meals that we've ever made. So here you go. Hey y'all, it's our favorite night of the week. It's subby supper night. Tonight's subby supper comes from Kelly. It's new to us. It's fried pork chop sandwiches. So a little bit about Kelly. She and her husband Brody live in North Carolina. They have 2 little girls, Kara and Alyssa. And she and her husband met when they were both serving in the Navy together. Thank you so much for your service. They met in 2012, and she said they've been inseparable ever since. She's originally from Indiana. He is originally from North Carolina. And they developed this recipe by combining 2 of their favorites from growing up. She always loved pork tenderloin. He loves doing fish fries. So they kind of combined this together and made it originally theirs. And we're so excited that they shared it with us, and now we get to share it with you. Okay, I'm gonna cover these with some wax paper. I've got a meat tenderizer here. It's kind of got like the mallet side on one side and then the tenderizer. First, I'm gonna use the flat side. I'm gonna flatten these out just a little bit just so they're easier to tenderize. Now that they're a little bit flatter, I'm gonna use this side and do the tenderizing. I'm going to transfer these to this glass bowl. and we're gonna pour buttermilk over them and let them marinate for about 2 hours in the buttermilk. You don't want to do it much longer than that. Kelly said they will start to fall apart on you if you do. Okay, so we're gonna cover these and put them in the fridge for about 2 hours. Put 3 eggs in here. We're going to be dipping our pork chops into this. I'm just going to whisk these. Okay, for the coating on the pork, we need 1 sleeve of saltine crackers crushed, and we need 1 cup of this fish fry. This is the Zatarain's seasoned fish fry. So we've got our pork chops that have been marinating in the buttermilk for about 2 hours. Grab a pork chop and put it directly into the egg mixture. And then right over here. So I've got the pork chop in here. Kelly said to press the mixture into it really well. You don't want to see any of the meat at all. So the temperature of the oil came up to 350 degrees. We're going to put these in until they're golden brown on each side, probably about 3 minutes before we need to flip it. All right, while our second batch of pork chops are frying, I'm going to get this ready. We just added a little nature seasoning to our mayonnaise just to give it a little extra spice.
Oh boy.
So we had to cut this bad boy in half
look
because
at
it was so big.
I believe I can handle this. The pork is really tender. It's not tough at all. I love the crunch and the crispiness of the crust and the flavors. It's not like anything I've ever had. I don't think I've ever had a deep fried pork chop. This is really, really good. Very tasty. Goes really well with that mayonnaise. It's almost like eating like a fried chicken sandwich, but with the pork. Just a different flavor. So good.
Okay, so now we are moving on to Cole's favorite meal. He did not hesitate in the slightest. It is a more recent one that I did not share in a What's for Dinner. I actually shared it in a Cook and Clean with me, but it's called Mexican Alfredo. I originally got the idea from my friend Mackenzie, and it has become a staple. We all love it. Cole especially loves it, but I love it because it's so incredibly easy to make, especially when you are making it with chicken sausage, because chicken sausage is already cooked. You don't have to cook any chicken to go into it. You just heat it up and then kind of put everything together, and it is so good. So here you go. It's time to get started on dinner, and tonight I am making Mexican Alfredo. This is not my recipe. My friend Carla McKenzie, she has a YouTube channel and then of course an Instagram as well. She came up with this and she's got it in her highlights on Instagram, but I know a lot of you don't have Instagram, so I wanted to show you here. Just got some taco seasoning. We'll use this whole box of penne pasta. You can use whatever cheese you want. I just got this Mexican blend cheese, some Alfredo sauce. You'll need the whole jar. And then whatever meat you want to use. She uses shredded chicken. We've done that once, but we really enjoy doing chicken sausage. But you could do ground beef. You could do whatever you wanted to, honestly. And of course you could change it up. This is like a great base and you could change it up however you wanted to. But this is like a 15-minute meal. I'm not even kidding. It's amazing. So tonight, instead of me cooking, we've got my sous chef over here, and he's gonna do the cooking tonight. He's been learning how to cook lately. He's enjoying it. This is a very simple one, so you feel confident you can tackle this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So Cole is chopping these up, and while he does that, I'm gonna go ahead and get our pasta started. So I've got this water, it's gonna come up to a boil, and we're just going to cook the pasta to al dente, like about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll drain it and we'll add it in with the rest of the ingredients. I'm heating this up to about medium-high heat. I'm gonna put a little olive oil in there. Well, Cole's gonna put a little olive oil in there, and we're just going to warm these through. Okay, he's gonna go ahead and add in our chicken sausage.
Dump them on in there.
Dump them on in there. Just a quick note, if you decide that you want to use shredded chicken instead of chicken sausage, you may need more than 1 jar of Alfredo sauce, or you'll want to pour in the entire jar and then fill it up to, I don't know, maybe halfway or so with either water or chicken broth, just because the shredded chicken will soak up a lot of that Alfredo sauce. When you make it with the chicken sausage, it doesn't do that, so just a little note on that. Okay, now he's going to add in the jar of Alfredo sauce. We're gonna let that warm through. He added just a little bit of water in there. He's gonna shake it up just so we get all of that Alfredo sauce. We're about to have an explosion over there. There we go. If you have a pack of taco seasoning, you can just use the whole pack. We make our own taco seasoning, so we're gonna use about 3 tablespoons. So Mackenzie adds mozzarella cheese. We are gonna do a couple of big handfuls of this Mexican blend cheese. I really think it would be good with a hot cheese too, like the Walmart Great Value brand has the hot jalapeno and habanero jack. I think that would be really good too. So we added about a cup of cheese. We're just gonna let that melt all together, and it's about time to drain our pasta. Now he's just going to add in our pasta, and we will stir it all together, and it'll be time to eat. So that was each of our favorites, and then there's 2 more meals that we all 3 agreed upon, and I wanted to share those with you here in this video. The first one is going to be lemon butter chicken with the, I think it's garlic parmesan orzo. I think that's the name of it. You'll see in just a second in the clip. I'm including both of them because that's what we made as a meal, and it's still one of our all-time favorite meals. It is so good together, so go check this one out. I'm making lemon butter chicken and a quick and easy garlic and parmesan orzo. So I'm gonna prep everything for both the side dish and our main dish. These are gonna be cooking at the same time, so I just wanna make sure everything is ready so that I can kind of switch back and forth over there at the stove. One of the recipes calls for shallot, and my grocery store didn't have any left, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of onion instead. lastly, I just need to chop up just a little bit of this parsley. This is just gonna be the finishing touch on our chicken. So I've got really thick chicken breasts here. I'm gonna cut them in half, and then I'm also gonna go ahead and pound them out to make them super thin. And we are going to salt and pepper them and then put them in some flour. I've got about a third a cup or so of flour, and we will dip them in on both sides. I didn't want my clothes to get messy, so thought I would break out the apron. I don't use it as often as I should. I should probably use it every single time because I always get stuff all over me. Anyway, let's do this. So this is just to make sure that they're all kind of even and they're thin, but it's also tenderizing the chicken breasts. And we just want these lightly coated. Doesn't have to be super thick or anything. Now let's get started on the orzo first. Just gonna turn our pan to about medium high. You wanna make sure you have a pan that has a good depth to it because you are gonna be adding some liquid. I've got 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We're gonna melt that down. I'm gonna go ahead and saute our onions. I'm just gonna cook these until they're soft, and at the very end I'm gonna add in our garlic just so it doesn't burn. Got 2 cloves of garlic that's been minced. Now I'm gonna add in 1 cup of milk, 2 cups of chicken broth, some salt and pepper, and about 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. So I whisked it and made sure that I got everything up off of the bottom of the pan. And now I'm gonna add in a cup of dry orzo. Okay, I'm gonna set the timer for about 10 minutes, and we're gonna bring this up into it like a bubble or a boil, and then we will turn down the heat. I've got our large skillet heated to about medium-high heat. I'm gonna add in a little bit of olive oil, couple of tablespoons of butter, and let that melt down. This has started to bubble. I'm going to turn it down to about medium low. And we're just going to let this simmer and hang out until the pasta is cooked. Okay, I'm going to have to work in 2 batches since we have 6 chicken breasts, but we're just going to cook these until they're done. Our orzo is done. I'm gonna add in about 3/4 a cup of Parmesan cheese. We're gonna let that melt down. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off. And I'm gonna add in a couple of handfuls of baby spinach. And I'm just gonna stir this in and let it wilt down, and this will be ready. In this same skillet, I've turned down the heat to about medium. I'm gonna add a little more olive oil, and we're gonna saute our garlic. We're just going to let this saute for like 20 seconds, just until I can smell it. Now I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of chicken broth. And we need about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. We're gonna let this simmer for just a couple of minutes. We want it to reduce down to about half of the amount of liquid that's in there now. So that is reduced down. I'm adding in 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I'm gonna let this melt. I zested the lemon, and I have about a half a teaspoon or so of lemon zest. That's gonna go in there with it. I'm just adding our chicken breasts back in here. And I'm just kind of letting them soak up some of that good lemony, garlicky flavor. And it's gonna be time to eat.
Yeah, this looks like something out of a restaurant for sure.
It really does.
Really good.
It's been smelling so good in here.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You did it again.
I did it again.
This is amazing.
Yay.
Definitely restaurant quality. Mmm. That lemon, buttery flavor of the chicken. I mean, it is held really well in that crust.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this looks really good. That is super creamy.
It really is.
Love the texture of that. Very creamy. And with the spinach in there, oh, that is a nice touch.
Thumbs up.
Good job.
What about from you, Cole? Cole's too busy eating, but he gave me a, oh, there he is. Y'all have to try this. That chicken, what did you just say, babe? Oh my word.
I mean, I would legit order this.
From a restaurant.
For sure.
It is so tender, and he's right. That flour made all of the flavors just stick right to it. It is so good, y'all. And our very last meal that we all agreed upon, that we all love and we've made numerous times, is our beer battered fish and tartar sauce. It is so good. Even if you aren't the biggest seafood lover, we use cod. You can use whatever fish you want, but it really does not have that much of a fishy flavor. I'm funny about seafood. I like seafood, but if it has too much of a fishy flavor, I'm out. This does not. It's very tender, but it's very meaty. And it's amazing. That batter is so good. The homemade tartar sauce is so good. It is one of our favorites for sure. Tonight we're trying a brand new recipe to us. It's fish and chips with homemade tartar sauce. Let's get started. We're gonna get started on the tartar sauce first, so I'm gonna prep the ingredients for that. This is fresh dill. We only need about a tablespoon. I'm gonna chop this up now. We need about a cup of finely chopped dill pickles, so I'm going to start chopping all of these up now. So let's mix all of our ingredients together for the tartar sauce. We've got 1 cup of dill pickles finely chopped. We need the juice of about half of a lemon. It calls for about a tablespoon of lemon juice. 1 teaspoon of sugar. 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 cup of mayo, and lastly, our tablespoon or so of freshly chopped dill. Put the lid on this, stick it in the fridge until we're ready to eat. Now we're going to prepare the beer battered fish. These are fresh cod loins. We're just gonna slice these in half just to make it a little bit easier to work with in the oil. I've got 1 cup of all-purpose flour in here. To that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of salt, and about a teaspoon of pepper, and 1 egg. got a 12-ounce bottle of beer. I'm gonna start whisking this into that batter. I'm gonna dry these off with a paper towel just to make sure there's no extra moisture. And I'm gonna throw a little bit of salt and pepper on top of them.
Nice and golden brown. Now they're ready to come out of the grease. Oh boy, I'm really excited about this meal. Man, these look incredible.
I wish y'all could have seen him jumping around the kitchen, how excited he was about this. I'm not exaggerating, he was jumping.
Wow, that is amazing. That tartar sauce, that is so delicious. And the flakiness of the fish, and there's just so much meat in this cod. I like how it's cut into these strips. It's like eating a giant homemade fish stick, but like 4,000 times better. The tartar sauce with that dill and that lemon, that little bit of, just a little bit of pop and tart, right up against the beer batter. Oh yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. We had so much fun kind of looking back through old videos and talking about different recipes that we loved. We definitely have enough to where we can make another video like this. So if that's something you're interested in, if you want to hear more of our favorite recipes over the last 60 something What's for Dinners, let me know in the comments. We will definitely do another one sometime, not too soon. We'll have brand new recipes for you again next week. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now so you don't miss it. And until then, y'all, I'll see you next time. Bye.